This is the story of my Muay Thai progress so far, while training in Thailand and having my first 8 fights, all within 1 year after turning 34 years old. You see, my Muay Thai and striking abilities used to be absolute trash. Prime example of this can be seen in this clip of me almost getting knocked out by a much smaller fighter in my very first MMA fight 13 years ago at the age of 22. Fortunately for me though, at the time I was a half decent grappler and managed to weather the storm by taking him to the ground and ending the fight with an armbar. The purpose of this video is to shine some light on the fact that anyone can make massive improvements in their martial arts abilities, provided that they have the right discipline, training, and never give up attitude. And yes, I do realize I'm no Buakau or Sanchai, and that I still have a long way to go when it comes to improving my Muay Thai skill and technique. Because as a martial artist, I believe that this is an ever progressing, lifelong journey, full of ups and downs, with a focus on developing oneself physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And of course, the desire to benefit not only their own lives, but also, hopefully, the lives of those around them in a positive way. Fast forward to over a decade, after years of barely training and having let myself get out of shape, I decided that it was time to kick things into gear again. Fortunately, at the time, I found myself living in Thailand, so for me it was a no-brainer to sign up at a Muay Thai gym. Though, being 33 years old at the time, I had no plans on fighting and simply wanted to get fit, with the hopes of also improving my striking abilities, as that's always been a huge weakness of mine. But because fighting in martial arts is something I've always been naturally drawn to, the deeper I got into training, the more I was unable to resist the urge to get back into the ring. When starting Muay Thai in Thailand, I weighed 205 pounds, which was absolutely crazy for me, as growing up, I'd always been a pretty skinny guy. But after only 4 or so months of training 6 days a week, I had lost around 26 pounds and was looking leaner than I had in a very long time, walking at 178 pounds. Though since then, I've added strength and conditioning to my schedule, and I'm fluctuating between 180 and 185 pounds, and I'm feeling stronger and better than I ever did in my 20s, both mentally and physically. Alright, let's take a look at some of my fight and training footage to see some of my improvements, as well as what I still need to work on. Let's start with my punching ability, or more accurately, my lack of punching ability, as seen here in my third Muay Thai fight against a much more experienced fighter who had already fought in big televised bouts here in Thailand. If you look closely, I wasn't generating nearly as much power as I could have been, because I was throwing mostly arm punches rather than using my legs, hips, and shoulders to inflict as much damage as possible. And even though I was still able to hurt him, I genuinely believe that if I was throwing with the proper body mechanics, some of these shots that landed could have led to a knockdown or maybe even a knockout. But that's part of what's so awesome about Muay Thai. The process of training, fighting, then learning from your mistakes and trying to improve on them between each and every fight. Now compare that to my most recent fights seen here, where I've been able to take more advantage of using my body weight rather than throwing the same pathetic arm punches like I did in the past. And though still not perfect, I'm very happy with the way things are progressing so far. Alright, let's take a look at my kicking progression so far. After starting up at a new gym a few months ago, my new trainers explained to me that my roundhouse kicks were quote unquote more kickboxing style than Muay Thai style. And how I understood this is that a kickboxing roundhouse is based more on the speed and snappiness of the kick, whereas a Muay Thai roundhouse is more of a power strike. I like to go back to the footage of my third fight for comparison, as I find it has some clear footage of what I'm doing wrong, especially up against a far more experienced and technical fighter. You can even see the obvious difference between the quality of my kicks versus the quality of my opponent's kicks, as seen here. Now here's some of my progression over my last few fights. slowly getting better at stepping out on an angle and really swinging my leg like a baseball bat, though I still definitely need to improve on being more consistent with coming up on the ball of my foot, as well as turning my hips over more. I think the biggest improvements I've made over the past year would have to be my clinching and my knees/knee defense, as this is an area that, for whatever reason, far too many foreigners avoid and neglect when it comes to their Muay Thai training. And if we look back at my third fight again, where the gap in skill difference was just so big that my opponent managed to fracture my sternum with all of the knees he landed on my body, completely exposing my lack of clinching ability and knee defense. This badly needed reality check ended up being the kick in the ass I needed to start taking my training more seriously. A decision which led me to the gym I'm at now, which is much more fighter focused with lots and lots of clinch training every single day. And even though I haven't really had all that many chances to display my improvements during my latest fights, I've definitely gotten better as far as my posture, foot positioning, head and arm control, sweeps, and most importantly, defending knees and elbows, both in and out of the clinch. And I'm very much looking forward to applying this new knowledge in my future fights. Make sure you guys subscribe to keep up with my Muay Thai fight progress here in Thailand, and give this video a like and comment as it really helps with the algorithm. Thanks so much for all of your support, and see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.